Derby County are reportedly holding interest in 35-year-old central defender Craig Dawson. Now, Craig Dawson is currently contracted to Premier League club Wolverhampton Wanderers, but his contract is set to expire in just a few weeks' time. And obviously, at 35 years old, he's not coming into Derby to be the next potential great thing, but he is coming into Derby with that opportunity to push Derby County to bigger and better things over the course of probably the next 12 months. Now, he did make an appearance for Great Britain at one of the Olympics, but he has not made an appearance for England's senior team. Now, this season, he made 16 appearances in the Premier League and the EFL Cup, playing 1,032 minutes, obviously most notably in that centre-back position. And he's had a very, very good career across the course of his career, obviously playing at a range of different clubs and a range of different levels, including playing in the Europa Conference League and the Europa League for a range of different teams. Now, shall we take a deeper look into Craig Dawson? Do you want to win yourself the brand new Derby County 2025-26 home shirt? Well, I'm here to give you an opportunity to do that. There will be a link down in the description where you can head on over to raffle.com to join a raffle where you can win the Derby County home shirt. Ticket prices start at just £1 with a range of different discounts available. You can buy 2 tickets, get 2 free, 5 tickets, get 5 free, 10 tickets, get 10 free, and 15 tickets to get 15 free. The intention with this is to give you guys the opportunity to win a Derby County shirt for less than the valued cost in the shop. So if you haven't done so already, head on down to the description, click on the link in the description, which will take you over to raffle.com, create yourself an account, answer the question, and join this raffle. The winner will be announced on August 1st at 6 p.m. as the transfer window begins to draw to a close. So if you haven't done so already, head on over there and get your tickets. Now, Derby County have got to deal with a couple of injuries at the start of this championship season, with Curtis Nelson and Sondre Langas set to miss out at the start of the year with recovery from their injuries. Obviously, Curtis Nelson with that ACL injury and Sondre Langas with his meniscus injury. Both are expected back around, I think Curtis Nelson is October, Sondre Langas is the end of August, start of September. And I think a player like Craig Dawson, like Danny Bath, who Derby County have been linked with already, are the perfect sort of players to be able to replace them sort of players for the time being. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't think Danny Bath or Craig Dawson are sort of long-term signings or with the look at long-term. I think it purely is that short-term, next 12-month period where Derby County have got to fill in some gaps and make sure they have good quality and good experience available for if something was to happen. Now, obviously, Craig Dawson, as I mentioned earlier, made 15 appearances this season across the course of the Premier League and in the EFL Cup. And for me, he's a very, very experienced, very, very good player. If we look at his numbers across his career, 522 appearances, 55 goals, 16 assists, 81 yellows and 2 red cards, playing 44,481 minutes. Now, he's played across the course of multiple different positions across the course of the back four. He's made a couple of appearances at left back, 108 at right back, and 302 at central defence. And obviously, if we look at the clubs he's played for, obviously he's played for West Brom's reserves, he's played for West Ham's under 23s, he's played for Bolton, Watford, Wolves, West Ham, Rochdale, and West Bromwich Albion. And obviously, as we mentioned earlier, he's played in the Europa League, he's played in the Europa Conference League, so he's played in those European competitions. Now, at 35 years old, many people are going to be looking at this and sort of turning their heads down to it, like a lot of people have with Danny Bath, like a lot of people have with the likes of Andreas Weimann as well. And in my opinion, I don't think that's the right way to look at these sort of signings. Craig Dawson isn't a long-term sort of player. He is a player who is going to come into Derby County and be sort of an option for the next 12 months while Derby County get the right target. Now, my personal opinion is I'd rather get a short-term fix who's experienced and has quality than buy a player who we're not necessarily sure on. And I think that is the right thing to do. Now, obviously, everyone will have their own opinion, and you can let me know yours down in the comments, and I'm really intrigued to hear what your opinions are. And I know some people seem to think that Derby County is scraping the barrel with these early sort of transfer links to the likes of Dawson, the likes of Danny Bath. But for me, I just think it's more a case of building up that quality in the squad, building up the experience in the squad at this level and potentially the level above as well. You look at Andreas Weimann has played in the Premier League, Danny Bath has played in the Premier League, Craig Dawson obviously played in the Premier League. Now, don't get me wrong, I do agree with 99% of the fan base in the fact that we need prime age players. We also need young potential players who are going to have potential sell-on value. I completely agree with that as well. And I do believe that they'll come. But obviously, especially those younger players with high potential, they're going to cost a pretty penny, and they're not going to come easy or cheap, especially when clubs if we know they have potential, there's plenty of clubs that know the player has potential, which obviously then makes the player a lot more valuable, and it makes it a lot harder to get a deal done, because obviously they can then offer that player a new contract and sort of say, you're going to be part of our first team next year, we're going to do this with you, we're going to do that with you to help develop you into the next sort of big thing. And that's what Derby County have to compete with when they're going out to buy those sort of young talented players. And one that I mentioned yesterday was Arkell Jude Boyd, who, in my opinion, is a very, very good option at 22 years of age. But is Derby County the right move for him now? That is a question that he'll have to answer, his agent will have to answer. And even you look at the likes of Peterborough, who are potentially interested in him, and you look at the likes of Stockport County, do they offer a lot more first-team football, which is going to give him better development? Those are the questions that you have to answer with those younger talents. Whereas with a player like Craig Dawson, he's just trying to extend his career. And if you give him that opportunity, you know he's got the quality, you know he can read a game of football, and you know he's a good defender. So it opens up that door to some really, really good options in that sort of back line, where you've got Matt Clark and Sondre Langas as sort of the key contenders for those centre-back positions. Obviously, if you go to a back three, we're going to need to add an extra one in there. You've got Jake Rooney coming through. You've got Ryan Niambi, who can slot in. If Craig Forsyth extends his deal, he can sort of slot in at that left centre-half position as well. And obviously, with the news regarding Danny Bath, you've got Curtis Nelson coming back from injury as well. So Derby County do have a lot of good options in that centre-back position that are going to need sort of improvements and things like that when it comes to the depth side of things. Because at the moment, Derby County's starting centre-back pairing, if we had a game tomorrow, would be Matt Clark and Jake Rooney, because we don't have the right sort of options at the moment. And that's why I think the moves for the likes of Craig Dawson, the likes of Danny Bath, is the right move in the sense of getting quality in the building. Now, obviously, it's not a long-term fix, as I've mentioned a few times in this video, but it does open that door to bring in some extra experience, some extra quality, which can then help the likes of Dan Cox in the academy, Kai Robinson. You look at Jake Rooney, you look at some of those other young talents coming through, you look at someone of the likes of Luke Banks, and you've got those opportunities then where you've got these experienced, high-quality pros that have played at some of the highest levels of football, not just in England, but also in Europe. And that then gives them that opportunity to look and watch how they train, watch how they look after their body, watch how they sort of go into tackles, watch how they play football on like a Saturday in like an actual real game situation. And they can go through the clips and the analysis with one of the analysts at the club, and potentially even with the player, if that player is sort of in that sort of mode of wanting to become sort of like a coach and wanting to mentor people. And I think that's massive for Derby County, having those sort of experienced pros who want to be the mentors, who want to guide the youngsters in the right direction and help them move on to bigger and better things, whether that be at Derby County or elsewhere. And that's what Derby County really need, in my opinion. It's the right sort of players that are going to push the club forward, bring in their own bit of quality so that they can have an impact on the pitch as well as off it. And that, for me, is brilliant for Derby. It's one of the reasons why I would have liked Derby County to keep Jeff Hendrick on sort of like an under-21 deal like Bradley Johnson had, where they trained day in, day out with the under-21s, obviously are potential fillers for the first team if necessary, but they train day in, day out with the 21s, they work with the 21s coaches, they help coach with the 21s, and it sort of opens up that door to be a proper sort of mentor. Now, I'm not saying Craig Dawson would be that. For me, Craig Dawson, Danny Bath, Andreas Weimann are all going to be part of that first team squad if they were to sign heading into next season, but you always have to have your sort of eyes peeled on the future, and I think that's what someone like Craig Dawson will absolutely do. Now, you can obviously let me know your thoughts on this down in the comments. If you haven't done so already, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell as well, and let's get into hearing all about the Derby County raffle. Do you want to win yourself the brand new Derby County 2025-26 home shirt? Well, I'm here to give you an opportunity to do that. There will be a link down in the description where you can head on over to raffle.com to join a raffle where you can win the Derby County home shirt. Ticket prices start at just £1 with a range of different discounts available. You can buy 2 tickets, get 2 free, 5 tickets, get 5 free, 10 tickets, get 10 free, and 15 tickets to get 15 free. The intention with this is to give you guys the opportunity to win a Derby County shirt for less than the valued cost in the shop. So if you haven't done so already, head on down to the description, click on the link in the description, which will take you over to raffle.com, create yourself an account, answer the question, and join this raffle. The winner will be announced on August 1st at 6 p.m. as the transfer window begins to draw to a close. So if you haven't done so already, head on over there and get your tickets.